let's try to understand why the unit of speed is meters per second and the unit of acceleration is meters per second squared. Sometimes it's written like this. You see, people don't really understand why the unit is this for acceleration. The unit of speed is kind of easy to understand because imagine you've got a car that has traveled 21 meters in 3 seconds. Then you can say that every second the car would have traveled 7 meters. 7 meters. So really, if you want to know the speed, it would be the distance, which is measured in meters, divided by time, which is 3 seconds. So you can see that's why the unit of speed is meters per second. But it's a bit harder to understand why the unit of acceleration is meters per second squared. So let's try and understand why. So to understand why, imagine you're standing on top of the building and then you drop a golf ball. Gravity on Earth is roughly 10. So let's just say it's 10. So 1 second later, the speed here will be 10. Another second it will be 20, 30, 40, and so on. So the acceleration for this golf ball is always 10. The acceleration is always 10 because it's trying to get faster and faster by 10 every second. Now the speed, when you plot the speed time graph, 1 second the speed is 10. 2 seconds the speed will be 20. 3 seconds, 30, 40, and so on. So your graph will look like this. And the equation here is y equals 10x plus c. C is the intercept. The intercept is 0. So it looks like this, but the y-axis represents speed. So speed equals 10, and the x-axis represents time. So the speed is given by this. Now, if you have an acceleration of 10, it means that you're going to have a gradient of 10 because look, 1 second it would have been 10, 2 seconds another increase in 10, another increase in 10. The point is when you have an acceleration of 10, you're going to have a gradient of 10. But then if you have a gradient of 10, it also means that you have an acceleration of 10. So given the speed time graph, if you work out the gradient would be the height divided by the cross. Well, don't forget the unit of speed is meters per second. You can write it as this, meters per second, or you can write it as meters because this block here, we don't understand what it means to have a power of a negative. So we would jump to 1 over the positive version, and then this m gets multiplied to the top. So it looks like this. So the point is that you can write meters per second as this or as this. So the speed here is meters per second. So the height here represents speed. So this height here is meters is hang on, let me clear this up. So the height here is meters per second, but then you divide it by the cross because you're trying to work out the gradient. The cross is another second because it's time. So this is the height is meters per second, and then you divide it by the cross. The cross is the unit is second, so it gets multiplied to the bottom. So that will then give you meters per second squared. That's why the unit of acceleration is meters per second squared. It's written like this. It's written like this, or it can be written as, well, you can drag the m out, so it looks like this, a block of m times a block of 1 over this thing here, which is, you can jump to s to the power minus 2. That's why it can be written as this, or it can be written as this. So the height divided by the cross gives you the acceleration. That's why the acceleration is given by this.